Now, once you are kind of want to do it by hardware, a particular operation. So, people also made hardware to do a particular operation, like a multiplier, right. So, the hardware which does a multiplication, and sometimes more complicated circuits which do certain operations, set of operations are also known as firmware. So, hardware chips which goes under the name of ASICs are made by people to do certain specific set of operations which are relevant to day activity in signal processing, and they call it as a firmware. So, the speed of this is much higher than what you would have done by using a computer. So, it is a question of your decision depending upon your time requirement in a particular problem that you are facing, whether you have sufficient time for you to wait for this computation to be done by a computer, or you would like to have to do it in a much shorter time. And these problems are very relevant when you talk about real-time operations. In real-time operation means I got some information, I have to process all this information, do some control before new set of information come. In such situations, you may not have time. For example, I send a pulse to see whether there is a target in the sky. But before next pulse is sent, I must know whether some information is already there with the reflection from the target, from the first pulse. And the pulses come in 1 millisecond duration. In 1 millisecond duration, you do so many computations. And if you want to do it by computer, the speed may not be sufficient. So, in that case, you may have to go to hardware. So, there are situations where you are forced to go through hardware solutions. You cannot do it by software solution. So, this just of course depends upon the problem to problem, and you will have to make up your mind on that. Okay. So, from going back to what I said in the first class, you have now an analog signal, which we hope we have covered how to handle the signals to do any kind of a signal processing. I will come back to it in the sense there is only one topic I have not mentioned, how to find the spectrum. That is a very important characterization of the signal S of t. We have agreed because every time we go on talk about bandwidth of the system, bandwidth of the signal, both must match. So, I must know how to measure the bandwidth of a unknown signal or spectrum of unknown signal. I have not covered that till now, I will do that now. But then we have a completely digital domain where the signal is converted into a stream of zeros and ones, right. And in that domain, quite often you will lose the idea that we are talking about signals. What all we are getting is a stream of numbers, and the stream of numbers some processing has to be done on that. And that is a digital domain where somehow the signal is, analog signal is converted to a set of stream of zeros and ones, and those zeros and ones are operated upon by some binary machine, which is your computer. So, we will study this later, but in between we said there is something called a discrete domain. Right, where we said you take a signal, continuous signal, analog signal, sample it at time intervals which are separated by a time less than or equal to 1 by 2 b, where b the bandwidth of the signal, and then the samples are exact, is good enough to give exact replication of your original signal. That is what the Nyquist sampling theorem said. So, as long as I do not need all the values of this analog signal for every value of t, I only need this for discrete values of t separated by distance equal to t, which is equal to 2b. So, instead of this f of t, what all I need is f of kt. and these are discrete. So, k is equal to theoretically minus infinity to plus infinity. And discrete numbers, not a continuum, it is all maybe I should put minus infinity 0 and so on. So, there are integers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to infinity and similarly 5. So, this is what if you give me this number is good enough to represent this without any error theoretically, as long as the signal has a finite bandwidth. So, now I forget about the variation with respect to continuum of time. I am now converting into variation with respect to discrete times. But remember, f still takes on the value anywhere from minus infinity to plus infinity. Amplitude can be anywhere from minus to plus infinity. And the sample may be at discrete point, but so these signals are called amplitude continuous, time discrete. And these signals are amplitude continuum, time continuum. And these signals are amplitude discontinuous as well as time discontinuous. So, these are the three characterizations of the classes of signals which we deal with in electrical engineering. So, now if I am given this domain of discrete signals, can I do all the mathematical operations that are required to be done on this? Just compare this with the operations with respect to here. Addition you can do, same operational amplifier adder will give you addition, subtraction you can do, multiplication you can do, right. The only thing we cannot do, we do not know how to do right now is, if I want to do filtering on this, I have a filter structure for continuous signals. Now, what is the corresponding filter structure for the discrete signals? Right, because this is only where T is important, because in filter structure you have derivatives of various orders, and when you talk about derivatives you are talking about a time variation of the signal with respect to time. Whereas all other operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, the point functions, meaning thereby the output at time t is equal to input at the same time multiplied by input at the same time. It is a point function, whereas a filtering is a range function, starts from some time and integrates or differentiates up to some time. So, this requires a knowledge of the signal over a period of time.